Well, last video, I asked you to comment and act like true denizens of the internet and make it offensive. Well, you didn't let me down. I'd like to share some of my favourites with you. Sean Tierney says, "Oh, you get to the good stuff already, but seriously, love your reviews and lists. Few reviewers can hit the nuances of a game so succinctly and with humour. You are to board games what Dennis Miller was to Monday night American football. One of the best ever, but underappreciated in his time." Ain't that the truth? Rudy Gaston says, "What the was this? Some crazy loon with all of his fine talk can't be bothered to iris his camera down. Ore et Labora, Castles of Burgundy, Arboretum, Snowdonia and Traumfabrik are great games though. Otherwise, don't listen to the fool. He can't even win a BGG award no matter how many times I vote for him." And Bill Clinton sums it up quite nicely by saying, "Utter truth. Too bad it's spoken by a complete I find that hard to disagree with. So, get down in the comments, and if it's offensive enough, I might read yours out on the next video. Right, let's get to the games. This is one of the Delicious Games titles that people don't talk about, but I love it. This is a knotty and incredibly clever game from the owner of Delicious Games and Czech Euro superstar Vladimir Suchy. This is one of the classic Euros that have disparate parts that you have to weave together to be successful, but unlike a lot of modern Euros, where it feels like the designer gorged on a load of mechanisms and then puked them out onto a blank sheet of cardboard, this is a cohesive design that rewards forward planning and deep thinking. Many complex games use their complexity as a crutch, the gameplay being lost in all of the rules. Messina isn't like this. It uses its mechanisms to create tension and fire off neurons in the brain. It's a deeply clever design from a deeply clever designer that has gone under the radar. Play this one if you get the chance. Another of Reiner Knizia's absolute classics. I've only played this once and it's leapt into the best spot on the whole list. This is just a classic Knizia auction game. Simple to learn and difficult to be good at. Doesn't last too long but offers a full experience. What makes Knizia so good though, what makes these simple little games absolute classics are the way he understands the incentives so well, the way he reaches into your brain and pulls the levers of self-interest. These games are easy to grasp because they tap into human nature so perfectly. They feel so natural because his understanding of human psychology is so flawless. These games don't play the player but are an extension of the player's natural impulses. Knizia's brilliant. I was worried about this one. Its older brother is one of my favourite games, but I'd found out that Berlin-based Schmidt-Spieler had lost the licence to Skull King and wanted something to fill the space in their line. The thing that calmed my quaking soul, though, was that this was designed by Stefan Dora. He is one of the true professionals that only Germany seems to produce in this industry. He cranks out solid game after solid game, but he has one bona fide classic in his arsenal that I'll be talking about later. Skull Queen, though, exudes similar vibes to Skull King, just without the rambunctiousness. Skull Queen is thinkier, more deliberate and infinitely nastier. This is a game where you can dash the hopes of those around the table and feel bloody great about it. There aren't hoops and hollers here, just deep thought and malicious action. Brilliant. Bottling is such a clever game and feels like no other trick taker I've played. Play this at first and the strategy seems obscure, and this is unusual for a trick taker, as in these games you're constantly building on past heuristics. This is not the case here. This is a game where you constantly put yourself in danger to court the attentions of the other players in the hope that they'll follow your lead, but just too late, pull out of their nosedive. While trick takers are often games where you can shoot the shit and have a drink, Bottle Imp requires concentration and it requires guile. This is a super clever game, one of the most clever games on this list, and the new version by Grail Games is really nice. Super heavy games aren't really my thing. though there's probably a few on this list. This is why I'm not naturally drawn to Vital Lacerda as a designer. I've only played one game of his that I actively disliked, and you can see that review here. But the intellectual exertion to play his games often puts me off. That's why one of his lighter games, The Gallerist, is my favourite of his. Ian O'Toole has made the game look fantastic, but it's the slick mechanisms and the ease of play that makes this one such a joy. This is a truly accessible Lacerda, but one that offers a meaty challenge. It makes me wonder why his games have become more and more complicated and weighed down with bloat when something as elegant as this exists. More of this, please, Vital. An absolute flawless combination of worker placement and wargame, Dominant Species is just wonderful. It's an asymmetrical game that gives each player a feeling of ownership over their animal. It is a brutal wargame that sees you trying to dominate the map. It is a brilliant and amoral exploration of the harshness of nature. It is a bloody great game, and this is why I really love Dominant Species, because it's a very serious game that treats its topic with scientific respect and yet is riotous fun every time you play. It does have one action though that allows one player to do two actions one after the other, and the person at the table with the most AP will choose it every time and make you want to rip their kneecaps off. But apart from that, this is an absolute joy. Star Realms The Revelation. As pure a deck builder as you'll ever play, but parlayed into a flawless dueling card game. The core mechanisms are lifted directly from Donald X. Vaccarino's Dominion, but there is so much more to this design than buying cards and reshuffling your deck. The way the various factions bounce off each other, the introduction of the space stations that not only give you brilliant special abilities, but offer a few extra temporary hit points to help you squeeze out a victory. This is a game that can be played in 15 minutes, but has that Moorish quality that you can play it all night. It's exciting, rambunctious, and full of incident. It also feels unlike most deck builders. This is an adrenaline shot to that mechanism that has yet to be equalled. Spend a tenner and get this one. Not only did Reiner Knizia design some of the best auction games out there, but also some of the best abstracts. Abstract games can be highly intimidating, and many mere mortals, myself included, may feel that they're out of the scope of their enjoyment. Not Knizia's though, and Samurai is really one of his best. There is the interweaving of strategic and tactical play, knowing when to deploy your special powers at the right time, and the delight and agony that could come with every placement of a tile. Like good abstracts, this is harsh and brutal and relies on skill, but it's short enough and tense enough and exhilarating enough that you want to improve your skill level so you can murder the bastards around you. Again, this is an abstract that plays wonderfully with more than two, but equally well at that count. If you don't think you like abstract games, give Samurai a go and you'll find out that you do. A micro game that kicked off the craze that resulted in a load of games with 18 cards that were shite. This one isn't, though. The design of Love Letter is crystalline and beautiful. The powers bounce off each other like perfectly calibrated chemical reactions. There is player elimination, but the games are short enough that it doesn't matter. It offers a deeply thinky and interactive experience that is accessible, but never pandering or simplistic. This is a masterpiece of economy and precision. I've played Love Letter a lot, and it still delights me when I get it out, because the joy lies in the other players around the table and climbing into their brains. There is no better microgame than this, and although they may have added mechanisms to the IP versions, the original is still the best, and the best work Seiji Kanai has ever done. Bruno Faidusi's designs are mischievous, and none are more mischievous than Citadels. The way he smashes a role selection game into a tableau builder is just brilliant. The criticism of the game is that it's unfair. Well, this is true. Being robbed or assassinated in a round can really screw you up, and if it happens in multiple turns, well, you want to tear your spleen out and show it to the people around the table. But have you looked outside the window recently? The world is unfair, and sometimes it is nice that that natural unfairness is mediated by rules, and sometimes it is unbridled fun to take your shirt off and wallow in the muck. Control is an illusion. Dispense with your illusions, play Citadels and lose control, even if it is only for 40 minutes. So, thank you for watching. You can like and sub and take a full-page ad extolling the virtues of this channel in the New York Times. You can also join the best Discord in gaming. And if you want to help these videos get made, you can go to patreon.com/5G4D and back the show. It really does help me to do this stuff. Right, I'm off to take my shirt off and wallow in the muck. Again. Floor. Speaky, speaky boy. My name is Speaky Boy. Skullquin is Skullquin. I hate reading. And if that hop. And that's my song, the farty song.